Chief, what's good, y'all? So today, I'm just gonna tell a little story about me all the way back as far as I can remember as a child. Now, we gonna start it off like this. The first thing I'm gonna say to, kick this off is my parents would always tell me stories about how I was like, 7, 8 months having full conversations with adults, not kids, but with adults. So I always been highly, highly, highly smart, like smart since a child. And they would tell me how they always knew I was gonna be a genius. So, that's how it is. And another thing is my my parents, they really stopped buying me toys young as hell because see what I would do is every time I would get a toy, I wasn't really interested in the toy. Like the lights and shit, I wasn't interested in that shit. I was interested in how the toy worked. At a young ass kid, I'm sitting here taking shit apart like 1 and 2 years old. I'm taking toys completely apart, looking at the different parts and shit. How does this move? How does this do this? How is it making this sound? How is it lighting it up like that? I would literally go all the way down to the fucking motherboard. You know what I'm talking about? That little green chip that be inside of there with all those wires and shit on there. My ass would always take the fucking toy apart and take those pieces out and collect them. And I used to always think, shit, I'm gonna use these to build something. I used to think that shit all the time as a kid, and my parents would get so fucking mad because they would spend so much money on these toys, and I just take them apart, trying to see how it worked. Like I did that with everything. I probably played with it for probably a day or two, maybe less than that. And then next thing you know, they'd come back, hey, where's that toy at? It's taken apart. Like I got the fucking chip somewhere. The chip, and they like, why did you tear that toy up? I wanted to see how it worked. That's because and I remember this, always as a child, no matter who asked, I would always tell them when they ask me, what do you want to be when you get older? I say, a scientist. That's what I want to do, a scientist. Ever since a child, that was the first thing that I wanted to do was to be a scientist. I remember I used to grab these fat ass, thick ass books that be like, books that I shouldn't even be touching as a kid, trying to fucking read it and don't even know what the hell it's saying, just looking at it, acting like I'm fucking reading formulas and shit. I literally used to be that type of kid, y'all, for real. And then I'd be mixing all types of chemicals. I remember one time I almost killed myself fucking with chemicals. Y'all won't believe what the fuck I did as a child. I took some fucking bleach and some ammonia and mixed that shit together and almost fucking died from that shit. You know what happened when you mix bleach and ammonia together. That that right there will kill you. It will kill you. If you inhale that smell, it will kill you. But luckily my mom or somebody came in and was like, what the fuck is that smell? And I'm sitting there playing with ammonia and shit. If she came in a little bit later, I probably could have died from that shit. Cause my mind was just always so curious, man. Like I always was just so curious about shit. I wanted to know how it worked. I wanted to, do this and do that. I'd be watching, Dexter's Lab. I used to watch that shit a lot as a kid. All the time, like, damn, that shit cool as hell. I want me a laboratory like that. I wanted a fucking a secret laboratory like that. For real, for real. Like, that was the type of kid I was. And I always was outside, doing some shit outside. So, that's just how that shit was as a kid. So, with all that being said, last night, I had this dream, right? And I don't know who the fuck was talking to me, but I was hearing like this voice while I wasn't asleep and I wasn't woke, but I was like, when you halfway in between, when you kind of like getting ready to go into the astral world, you getting ready to come back from the astral world. I was in that state and I just heard like this voice talking to me. It was like, you are one of the original 23 scientists that came here. Like I've been here since the fucking creation. That's so let's just put it this way. I am pretty much, I wouldn't say I am on the same level, but as my soul level, I'm pretty much on the same level as Satan or Zeus or them niggas, the ones that, betrayed us. I was with him because if Satan was the top scientist out of those 23. He was the top one. But then he had, the other 22 that was behind him, and we all was pretty much the same, strength and power. It was just he was appointed as the leader because, that's just who he was. He was basically like one of them top notches, and that's the main reason why Satan broke off like that and did what he did, because he was one of the, I guess he done got cocky or some shit. Felt like he didn't need to worship himself no more. He needed people worshiping him, and that was his problem. So, with that being said, my ass been here since fucking creation. I've been here since this earth was being created. That's the reason why I'm so knowledgeable with all this shit. And another thing that I want to tell y'all is y'all got to understand that we are people that use our imagination. We don't do this logical shit that they try to force on us now. Like in school and all that shit with the books and remembering all this fucking history and all that bullshit, math and all that. We was not doing that shit. We was imagination. All our creations came from our mind. That's how we did shit. So with that being said, like, we got to understand that we got to start trying to get away from logic. You got to start trying to get away from logic. That's why when I see some of y'all, not y'all, but some people in the comments that be black talking about, man, you can't do that. That's impossible, man. No, there is nothing that's impossible for us. We can do anything inside of our minds because we are those type of beings. Now, the elites and the oppressors, they the ones who use logic. They are logical people. And if you understand that, that's the reason why when we was in school, a certain group of kids will always be, seem like they more smarter when they really wasn't. They not smarter than us. And I can prove that shit in 100,000 ways. But they are not smarter than us. They just better at logic. We are not logical beings. We use our imaginations. Albert Einstein said that imagination is more powerful than knowledge. I can figure out anything by just using my imagination. As long as I know how it works, on a basic level, like as long as I can, as long as I know how it works, or I kind of know how it works, I can pretty much figure it out in my head with just imagining. Man, this car that I'm in right now, you know how many, I never took this car to the fucking shop. Anytime something happened to this car, I fixed it myself. That's because I would use my imagination like, how does this work? Nigga, I figured out how all of this shit work just by thinking about it. Just using my imagination. That's what y'all got to understand. Your imagination is so powerful. Tap into it. Stop all the time using so much logic. That's what they want you to do. They want you to use logic. That's their system. That's not ours. That's the reason why we are so much more powerful than them, because they can't use imagination. They can't create things. They can only use logic. That's the reason why y'all see so many, a certain group of people in my comments talking about, oh, that's impossible, blah, blah, blah. They always got to say some logical shit. Where did you get your information from? What books are you reading? Where's your source? I don't have no fucking source, y'all. This shit come from within. There is no source. I mean, no books and no shit like that. You don't find all your information for books, because anyways, these books don't be telling you the complete truth any fucking way. They only give you the breadcrumbs. If you want the true shit, you got to tap in. You got to go within and you got to connect with the all. That's how you get the real shit, not by reading no fucking books. You can only learn so much by reading books. You're not going to learn everything by reading books, y'all, because books are basically logical creations, and we are not logical. We are not. That's why when you're in school, they always trying to force all that shit on your skull. Like, I mean, on your brain. They trying to force all that math and all that shit. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. Like, they step by step with all this logic and shit. That's the reason why we had such a hard time in school, because that's not what we do. We don't learn like that. We have to see images. We have to see pictures. We have to be able to picture it in our minds. That's how I'm able to tell y'all these stories so good. Because while I'm telling you the story, I'm literally seeing the shit in my head as I'm telling it to you. That's how y'all are able to understand me so well. Because I tell it in a way that we understand. I'm not sitting here explaining this shit like how... Look, let me tell you this. When I first got on my own spiritual journey, and I started watching, like, the first person that I started watching was Ralph Smart, right? And then I came across this one white guy named Aaron Doughty or some shit like that. I couldn't grasp on to what the fuck he was teaching, because he coming with all these fucking graphs and shit. All these graphs and numbers and pie graphs and all this shit. And I'm like, bro, this shit, it just wasn't clicking. I wasn't understanding what he was fucking teaching. But if anybody else would tell it in a way where they kind of just speaking it in a picture, I grasp onto that shit instantly. Like, oh, okay. So that's one thing I want to tell y'all. Start using your imagination to figure things out. Don't use logic. We are moving into where we are already in the fourth dimension, y'all. That means that your imagination is more powerful than ever right now. Your imagination is on a level to where you can figure anything out with just using your imaginations. Put them fucking books down. Put them books down. Stop worrying about all that type of shit. If you in school, do what you gotta do. Get out of school. Graduate. You ain't gotta fucking have no A's and no B's and no shit like that, but graduate. Just get out of there. Get out of there, especially if your parents making you. If your parents don't make you, fuck that shit. Drop out. Because that shit ain't... Listen, y'all. Soon, all this shit that we got, this system that we in right now is crashing, nigga. It ain't gonna even matter if you got a high school diploma. It's gonna get to a point where you're gonna have 4 masterate degrees just to get a fucking basic-ass job in this system that we are moving to. That's why I'm trying to tell y'all, we got to start having our own business. Use your imagination. Create something for yourself. Use your imagination, y'all. We have to start doing that shit. That's how you manifest. That's how you do everything. You use your imagination. You literally create the whole process in your head with pictures. That's how I do my manifestation. I create the whole process of what I got to do, step by step. And I don't think it. Like, I don't write that shit down like how they try to tell you. Write it down. No. I literally see pictures of step by step of how it's going to happen and how it's going to break through. And that's how I manifest. Using my imagination. I'm trying to tell y'all better tap into this energy that we in right now. You better tap in, because it's the most powerful time right now. And we just going to constantly keep rising. And ain't nobody else going to tell y'all this. Nobody's going to tell you to use your imagination. They're not going to tell you that. So I hope y'all really take this information and run with it, because I'm telling you, if you use your imagination and you manifest with pictures, you got to have pictures. Pictures, y'all. Picture the steps in the process that you're going to take and run with it. And I promise you, you will manifest. But you have to have time to manifest. And I already said this in the video before. You can't be fucking working on 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Then you got to come home and watch your kids. You got to cook. You got to do this and this and that and think that you're going to manifest. It's not going to work. You got to have time. You have to have time. So look, if you are in a job or something, take this fucking opportunity of what's going on right now. Call your fucking job and tell them you got COVID, or somebody in your household got COVID. Get out of work for a few, like 3-4 months, and then call your landlord and tell them, I can't pay my rent because, I got kicked out of work because of COVID. They got a whole law out right now that's telling you that you can, take a certain amount of time without paying your rent. Take advantage of this shit, y'all. Take advantage. And I promise you, you will manifest. You will. Anyways, I hope y'all, have a great day today. It's not a real beautiful ass day today. It's fucking raining and shit. I can't even see the sky at all, to be honest with you. This shit is ugly. But, it is what it is. We gotta deal with this kind of weather sometimes. And another thing, I might go live tonight around 7 or 8. I might go live, so y'all stay tuned for that. But anyways, I hope y'all have a wonderful ass day today. Chief, I'm out.